Hey everyone, this is Beardo here, back with more Batman comics. I'm not going to say modern age Batman comics today, because we, in my opinion, really wrapped up the modern age with Batman with issue 713. It was a sad ending. After lots of highs and lows, things really ended on a low point. Now, I haven't talked a whole lot, really in any of my videos, about whether the New 52 was really made a huge difference overall in terms of sales and all the different reasons that they said they were doing the New 52, whether they successfully revamped characters or not. And I am going to talk a little bit about Batman, because generally people lump Batman in with sort of Green Lantern. Not a whole lot changed, but I sincerely disagree with the statement that the DC New 52 didn't have a very strong, lasting effect on Batman, because after Grant Morrison had sort of run rampant through all the Batman titles, completely revamped everything, we had, as I said at the end of yesterday's video, way too much of Dick Grayson as Batman, and not enough of a direction to send him in. And there was really no sign that that was going to change. If you look at, as things were wrapping up before the New 52, there was no sign that Batman was going to be back in his own book, which is just insane to me. They even created a specific title for him in The Dark Knight, for him to run around in that, so that we could keep Dick Grayson as Batman in the Batman title. In my opinion, this was a huge mistake, and in my opinion, this is something that DC really hadn't thought through well enough. And with the New 52, they got a get-out-of-jail-free card with that. And the big change that they made with the New 52, other than crunching Batman's very big modern history into just 5 little years, including all of those Robins that we talked about over all this month, right? What we did get, in terms of a significant continuity change, was the return of Bruce Wayne just plain being Batman, and you got Dick Grayson back as Nightwing. Now, I know people miss Dick Grayson as Nightwing, and from his run on Batman and Robin, that's fantastic. I totally agree with that. However, in terms of just the longevity of Batman as a character overall, we needed to get Bruce Wayne back in his own title, and the DC New 52 did that. And they did it gloriously by putting Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo on the title for the first time ever. Scott Snyder coming off of a brilliant Detective Comics run in which Dick Grayson was Batman, and he had Jock on artwork, which was a phenomenal series in and of itself. And it's interesting because as good as that run on Detective was, Batman, his run on Batman, is really a completely different animal. It's hard to explain because it's the same but different. You have that sort of Scott Snyder intelligence that he brings to the characterization of everybody, and the way he sort of realizes the different voices of all of Batman's enormous cast. You do get that uniqueness in these books, and as you did with Detective Comics. However, this is a lot grander in scope. It's a lot more epic. It's sort of a bit more of that popcorn fun that we got with Batman Hush. And I really do need to compare this to Batman Hush in a lot of ways, because not only does Scott Snyder bring us some of that popcorn fun, Batman sort of being basically put through sort of the usual ropes that he always goes through, but done so in a glorious fashion with Greg Capullo on artwork, is a lot of fun. But the other thing that Scott Snyder did that's really similar to what Jeff Loeb did, in my opinion, is in Batman issue number 10, you get the introduction of Thomas Wayne Jr. as this Talon character, or the head Talon. I can't think of what they call him actually now off the top of my head, because now we have this other Talon. But anyway, and the thing that's great about it is he pulls a Jeff Loeb. At the end of Batman Hush, Jeff Loeb basically brought back Jason Todd without effectively bringing him back. He teased the fans with it, and then he said, "I will not be responsible for this. It was Clayface the whole time," right? And you get a very similar treatment with Scott Snyder at the conclusion of his first arc in Batman, where, it's up in the air. It's possible that this Talon character was never Thomas Wayne Jr., and that whole aspect of Batman never existed. But at the same time, he's effectively opened Pandora's box, and I'm sure somewhere down the line, someone is going to man up and take credit and actually bring that character back. Now, Judd Winick did that with the Red Hood in the Batman 650 range, and it was pretty glorious. I really, really enjoyed it, and as much as Scott Snyder shied away from it here in issue 11, I do think that is a big story thread that after Scott Snyder goes away, or maybe he'll do it himself, who knows, maybe he'll bring it back, but I doubt it. I think it'll be someone else. They're going to really run with that storyline, and we're going to have a lot of seeds to build on, even after Scott Snyder leaves. So, effectively, for me, the New 52 did something really, really important. And that is they brought a direction back, a definitive direction, back to the Caped Crusader. We brought things a little bit more back to the style that we know and love, which was very, very, very much for me a welcome return. And, again, it put Bruce Wayne back in the cowl. And as much as I guess I feel like they cheated in the sense that they just sort of used a get-out-of-jail-free card rather than going through the process of properly writing Bruce Wayne back into his own cowl, it was high time because, I mean, as a huge Batman fan, I personally was not reading Batman month to month, and I think that is a really big statement about the direction that they had taken this title up until we got Scott Snyder back on Batman, or for the first time on Batman here in, all the way back here, I should say, in issue 1. So, this wraps up all of the Batman comics from issues 404 with Batman Year 1, all the way up through Death in the Family, Alan Grant's run on Batman, the beginning of Doug Moench doing his enormous run on Batman, kicking it off with Nightfall, the breaking of Batman, up into lots of Villains of the Week. We get into Batman Hush, Bruce Wayne Murderer, of course. We get the introduction of Damian. And everything all culminates here with the most recent Batman story arc, Court of Owls, which has been a return to status quo that has been very welcome and very, very, done very, very well and very, very enjoyable. So for those of you guys who like to talk about how overrated Batman is right now, I understand your point. I think people made a lot of the same claims about Batman Hush, but it was the same kind of breath of fresh air that those of us who have been reading Batman forever really needed, that fresh air, that rejuvenation, and bringing things back in the direction that we wanted it to. We saw it with Batman Hush, and in my opinion, we're really seeing it again here with Scott Snyder. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching. As I said, these are all of the Bat books that there are to go over. We went through everything except issue 0. So, next week, since you all are well educated in the complete modern history of Batman, which is effectively the way we know Batman today, since Crisis on Infinite Earths really did hit the reset button in a lot of ways, we will be very well poised to judge the complete Batman family 0-issue run that DC has just put out this month. So, tomorrow, expect me to pop by and say hello with a final epilogue for the modern age history of Batman. This is the last video, folks, so enjoy it. Those of you guys who watch every day, you're gonna have to find something else to do with your time after this. So yes, I will be reviewing all of the 0 issues for Batman for you. I'll be making some broad statements, I'm sure, about, comparing the modern age with the new DC 52 continuity, give you some feedback, give you some of my opinions, and it'll be a whopping good time. So tune in tomorrow for the last modern age history of Batman video ever. Thanks everyone for watching. See you tomorrow.